Hello folks, Sean Van Ozzo here with an illustration of the process we'll be using to build a restaurant marketing ecosystem you can depend on. So in most cities there's a large population of hundreds of thousands of people in the sea over here. Okay, so this is going to be our sea of fish that we can fish in. And from this general population in the community, there are rivers we call media channels that some are large, some are small, but they have all these fish inside them. Okay. Now, with these rivers, some of them have fees for access. So, for the right to fish in this river, it'll be 2x dollars per fish you catch. And a lot of restaurants think that this is the only accessible place. You can only catch fish if you outlay some cash in marketing dollars. And it's not necessarily true because there's things like foot traffic, which I know can be rudimentary, but there are fish in these free channels, these free media channels. And what a lot of restaurants are doing is they're believing that the only way that they can gain customers is to set up camp alongside the riverbank and pay for the right to fish. Now, what we would like to do is have your own independent estuary here. So there's the sea and the rivers where the fish already are, they're already traveling. And then here is some private land of yours where the fish swim into. Alright? And this is where they can spend money with you. This is where you can monitor the average check size and you can say, alright, this is your land with your rules. And what part of the operation is having an abacus along here. Okay? So these are beads where our little robot friend is going to count the fish that come from River A into our estuary. And we can check back in on the abacus to see how many fish came in, how much money they spent, how frequently they're doing this. Now at this point, all we're doing is selecting the rivers that are feeding into our estuary. And then from land, we're landing fish from the estuary here. So there's some free equipment. There are hooks we found on the ground that you can bait and put into your estuary. Or if you want to rent a boat, you can go and you can be more effective in gathering the fish when you've got a boat to go out there. Now at this point, we're collecting enough fish in here to get enough dollars to decide if we want to turn to a more heavily populated fish, or if you want to set the dollars aside, or if you want to hire more staff, get taste your bait for the fish. At this point, we're collecting enough fish to raise your capacity to do other activities. Now this is public land and privately owned rivers. This is your land, your estuary. What we can do from here is build out a river which feeds back into the sea and these other rivers you like. Now at this point we can have selective dams, whether these are open or shut. You can think of them like valves. Along this privately held river you've got, after your estuary, you can place incentives for transactions along here. So you're going to put all sorts of hooks and nets for the fish. lined all throughout the river. And each time a fish gets caught in one of your hooks or one of your nets, you can monetize it and release him back into the ecosystem. Now, a tragedy to watch is when restaurants feel like they've built the restaurant, so they've got the doors open, and then they hear that they have to turn to River A because it's the hot river. It's the river that is trendy, and oh man, it is cool. It's new, it's fresh. Everybody from the sea is coming into this river. Well, it costs 2x dollars to participate in this river, and they have X dollars, but they want the right to fish. So they'll find a way to get 2x dollars. It's all the dollars they have, and they'll come in and they'll say, I want to fish in River A. Okay? Well, River B costs 1x dollars to participate in, and River C is a free river. All you have to do is wade into the river and grab some of the fish, which translate into dollars, which translate into ability to decide where you're going to participate. Now, what seems to happen with restaurants is they'll set up camp in a river that might not be too populated and wonder what's going on because other people are fishing inside this river too. So the fish are either being caught by other restaurants or there's not enough to go around in this single river. It would be just like other people fishing in your private estuary, which is your database of customers. Now, most restaurants have all these incentives they can use: trivia night, your daily specials, your open mic nights, all these other things that incentivize people to bite on your hook. And then there's an exchange. What some of the more sophisticated people are doing is they're finding a river they can count on, adding it to the estuary, farming from the estuary, and then recycling it back through the process. Now, some of these could be called Google, Facebook, foot traffic, open table, your associations. There are business estuaries you can build pipelines between and let the fish funnel into your estuary. What else we're doing is we're tagging them once they come into your estuary. So it's like you're installing an earbud in the fish's brain and saying, when they're back out at sea, if they've passed through your estuary, they can still hear your radio call. They can still hear your incentive to say, if you swim back to us, we'll give you this. Okay? And then you have an ecosystem that you own that the fish are traveling through and exchanging with you at an interval basis. So after a week, you can check your abacus at each river and say, River A is producing X for me. River B is producing Y for me. River C is producing Z for me. And I'm putting in X, Y, and Z into the inputs of the rivers. Now, over time, you'll have these fish inside your database. And you'll be able to say that, okay, These people are inside my customer relationship manager software. And I have this list of written incentives. This is the list of activities which bring revenue into the restaurant. And because they've passed through my estuary, I can remind them of this on my own costs without necessarily needing to have all three rivers open at the same time. You can close and open these dams based on what you want to invest into marketing and what your return is. You can review the numbers and adapt based on the performance of each channel. This estuary doesn't have a limit on what it can contain, and you can always add more rivers. Okay, so there's a list of resources that we have that we would like to share with you, and we would like to talk over how to connect the rivers to your estuary, and then connect the sea to the rivers, which others have done, and then how we can get your hooks and nets into place so you have an overcompensated chance of catching a lot of fish. With the ability to validate it from the abacus. Now, on the rest of the channel, you'll see other training videos. You can go to our podcast on iTunes and you can schedule a 50-minute consultation where we select the river you would like to use, or rivers, ensure you have an estuary built, and then make sure that these connections aren't severed. As it goes, we can get fancier with boating equipment and what kind of bait you're using, what kind of hooks you're using. You can grow with this, but this is the basic components of building your own ecosystem where other people can't penetrate. So, click the link below to schedule your consultation. We'll get a sense of what you would like your estuary to look like and what you've heard so that we can work this to your specifications. Okay. It can be simple. It doesn't necessarily mean it's easy in the beginning, but there's enough available to us to motivate us to build this so that I know you have enough fish. And this is, if you would like any follow-up on this, comment below. Got an open door policy. You can go to Sean Van Osdale, SeanVanausdal.com for further research and information, or until I get it fixed, bit.ly/repeat, REPEAT hyphen /Sean SEAN hyphen repeat REPEAT hyphen customers CUSTOMERS to do some further research. Plenty of this can be outsourced and reviewed on intervals you feel comfortable with. So, I hope this incentivized you to, forget that. I just think it's beautiful and I get a kick out of processing these, of building these. So, let's talk about how we can get one of these built for you, because you deserve one of these ecosystems working for you. Click the link below. Have a great day.